So the point of this assignment is to use loops and methods. So I kind of want you to start fresh because I don't want you to have like a ton of nested if statements anymore. I want to compartmentalize them all into their own methods. So to start off, let's just make one method for, I've got my diagram up here for the start. So this dark room. And let me clean this up real quick. Okay, so public static void. All of these methods are going to be void. I'm going to call it start. And we're going to console.write. Whatever this says. There we go. So slash in, I'm going to make these drop down. And I'm going to call start at the beginning. So let's see. Cool. So it's formatted correctly. Very nice. So we want to get, so for the user's input, I'm going to make a class variable, meaning I'm going to put it in the class but not in main. So that way every single method will have access to it. So public static. For choices we want int. I'm just going to call it choice. And I'm going to say choice equals convert.to int 32 console.readline. So now I can get the player's choice, whether it's 1 or 2. Oh, I've got these in the wrong spot here. It should be here. So if choice equals 1, they're going to go through the red door. So which is this one over here, the fantasy. So I'm going to call that method A1. So I haven't made this method yet. I'm just calling it A1. And if choice equals 2, I'm going to call B1. And that's going to be it for our start method. That's everything. That's all that exists. That's all this little box should do. It should say the text and then give you the 2 options that it's allowed to go to. So that's it. Cool. Start's done and we can close it. We don't have to look at start anymore. Now I want to make A1. So public static void A1. And do that text. I'm going to do a console.clear at the start just to make it look better. Console.write line. And whatever this says. Gotta format it a little bit. Options /n. console.clear, write everything out, and then we'll get choice. So because choice is a class variable up here above main, because it's in between these two, we can call it within any method without having to actually pass it through. So it's kind of handy, especially for something like this where I don't want to have to pass through choice into each one of these methods. I can just make it up here, and it's not a global variable, but it is a class variable. So choice is convert dot to int 32 console dot read line, and if choice equals 1, we're gonna go that way, and if choice equals 2, we're gonna go this way. I'm not gonna make those quite yet. So right now, if I were to run this, it's not going to work because I still don't have a B1. Like I'm calling B1 here, but I don't actually have that yet. So I'm gonna make that real fast just so we can test it. So public static void B1 console.clear. Make it look good, because we're good programmers. Console.write line, and whatever this one says. So reality. Do a little formatting. I'm actually gonna put 2 there. I'll put 2 on this one as well. Okay, so I'm not going to finish it out. This way, it'll at least run whenever I try to run it. Yeah. Let me format that a little better. I don't like the way it looks. Okay. So this is the start of your journey. There are 2 doors available. One is red, the other blue. Open the red door. Let's go red. I'm going to hit 1, hit enter, and now I have gone in. Now I'm in this state, this method here, and it prints out its text, and it has its choices, but I have no logic there yet for those. So this is how you would do it using methods. Do y'all think this looks way easier than the if statements? I'm curious. No? This looks harder than if statements. I mean, it's the same, except when you start getting 100 of these, it's going to be a lot easier to find. I want to edit A2, like whatever's in this box. Well, I don't have to like scroll through a bunch of if statements to try to find it. I can just go, oh, here's A1. Here it is. I don't have an A2. But here's A1. I can just change what I need to change in here. Cool. So another cool thing that this will let us do using methods like this, if you had if statements, you're kind of stuck like going down that one path. It's going to be really hard to like, if I was over here, to jump all the way over here. So like this particular room, I can go back and then go through a different door. So if I wanted to do that, I could just make, instead of this go to B1, make it go to B7. Whatever. It can go wherever you want to go. You're not limited to the nested if statements. So it gives you a lot more power with where you can go with your story. So start A1, B1. And if you wanted to loop this, you would just throw the whole thing in a while loop. Looks weird because I didn't clear at the start here. Console.clear. So let's say you die or you get to the end. Now when we get to the end, it'll take you back to the start. Whoa. Does that make sense on how to use methods to do this? I promise it's going to make your life a lot easier. Just look at it like, here's one of these boxes. I'm just going to make that a method. So here's my start. Let's call this a dark room. Huh? Over here? Oh, I hit enter before I typed anything in. Like if you just hit enter, it'll explode because it doesn't know what nothing is. So like my start method is just this as like, think of it as like a thing you can just grab almost. I mean, this is the starting thing. This and this are the same. Same as this, A1. This is a completely different like state. And that's this. They're the same. And that way, if I wanted this one to have an option that went all the way over here, or this one to have an option to go up over here, I can very easily by just saying, if they choose this, go to such and such state. And that's it. It's going to make your life a lot easier. What else was one of the requirements? Oh, okay. So if you were doing the assignment correctly and you made a like a key or something you had to get for your path, you can just make that another variable up here. I'm going to make it a Boolean because you either have the key or you don't have the key. And let's say to go down whatever, this path. Well, let's say we go down A1. Let's say we choose A1. We'll set key equal to true. So now we have that key. So because this is a class variable, I can change it in whatever method I want. So I'm just in A1, if I choose that, I'm saying I found the key equals true, and somewhere down the line, if I needed a key, I can use it there. And if you wanted to check, let's say in B1 or something, we needed a key. If choice equals 1 and key equals true. So we can only choose that if we have the key. And let's say you do type that in, you hit 1 and you don't have a key, we need a way to check if you really have a key or not. And that's kind of a trick, but it's not very hard. How would you check if you had a key? Okay, yeah, sure. So if key equals true, Okay, so how would I use this if statement? Because they're gonna see the option, right, in the text. You can, so if I just put well, there's a few ways we could do it. So one way, probably a quicker way, maybe not the best way, would be to put your options, put two different sets of options in here. So if key equals true and you have a key, there is a locked door. Do you want to open it with the key you found earlier? Whoa, dang it. With the key you found earlier, you can put that inside of an if statement, so it's like an extra option for you to do, and then put your like if statements for choices in here. So if choice equals 1, open the door. Well, I guess it would be like whatever, path C 18 to 8. Else choice 2, do whatever, B2. Doesn't matter. I don't know where your story goes. But setting it up like this is probably a lot faster, a lot easier. Another way you can do it is put it all in a while loop so that you can keep making choices. So like if you don't have a key, but you see a door, and you hit 1 to open the door, and it says, you don't have a key, you can't open this door. So it loops it again and lets you make the decisions again. That could be another way if you want to have the door visible, or whatever it is, visible for the player to do even though they don't have that object. You could put it in a while loop. This is probably faster and easier. And it could be cool. Could be like a replayability thing. Like, oh, I didn't see that option last time I played. Both are pretty valid. Y'all have any questions?
Do we need a method for every box?
Yeah.
That's a lot of methods.
Well, okay, so it depends on how you have your boxes set up. Because some people, like for these, I have the title, all the text, and the choices in one box. But some people have like here's a box, here's a box, here's a box, and they all like go down like this. So it's just like these 3 boxes are actually just one big box because it's just story text. There's no like choices. So these states right here should just be like where the choices are. They should have all the text to the choices. So it shouldn't be very many. You should only have 15 methods because that was the requirement, was 15 story states. Or more if you added on to your other story. So you might have like 35 methods. But yeah, and it is, but I mean, I made 3 in like 5 minutes. Like, it doesn't take very long. The longest part is typing out the story, and if you have it already, then it's whatever. And you're not going to get lost in if statements, or like so many people had issues with brackets in the if statements and would just completely break their code. This is way safer to do because you're not going to mess up brackets, really. You shouldn't, because you only have a method, and then the if statements inside. That's it. So you shouldn't like be breaking your game very as easily as nesting if statements 15 if deep, which is never good because that's really hard to read. So now I can like close all these up. And we have, I'll just make more. So A2. This one. Okay, so A2 doesn't go anywhere. I'll just leave that there. So A3 actually has one. And then back. So on this one, I'm going from A3 back to B1, which would be an entirely different set of nested if statements, but I can just do it with just this. Just goes right there, easy. I don't have to like mess around with go-to statements that are just going to end up confusing you more. I regret telling you guys about those. It didn't help anybody. Alright, that's it. Done. Now I don't have to sift through a whole bunch of if statements. They're all just ready to go. One method for one of these. Very nice. That's why I gave y'all 3 days. But it should really only take about 2 hours. Even if you have like 40 of these. Each one should be set up pretty much exactly the same.